We are back at it again, Ray Sports and Slams, brought to you by the good old people over at Boink Studios. BoinkStudios.com is where you can find all the latest and greatest podcasts between sports, movies, entertainment, etc., etc. Please follow us, BoinkStudios.com. I appreciate the love. I hope everybody had a really nice Easter. I had a great time with my family, my daughters, older one all day, and baby girl all day, and wife all day. We had a nice dinner. Everything was beautiful. I had a good time. But now it's back to the grind. We start every week on BoinkStudios.com with Ray Sports and Slams because we like to bring that heat, bring the fire. Let me introduce the president of the Wemby Hater Society, Matt Garvin. What's up, sir?
No problem. I'll be the president.
What's up, sir?
Yeah, what's going on, America? Hey, it's good to see everyone again. Just like Brother Ray, I had a great time celebrating Easter. You know, Christ is risen indeed. So I just want to say thank you all to everyone who support our show. Please like, share, and subscribe to Boink Studios. Let's go.
Yes, brother. And the president of the Michigan Wolverines, Walter Duncan. What's up, sir?
No. What's up, guys? Back in the building with my boys, my fellas, doing the thing again, man. Glad to be here, man.
Doing the thing again, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, dude. What's going on, man? It's good to see you, man. Good to see you guys. I hope you had good Easter, everybody. Before we get into the grind. Good.
Yeah.
Likewise. It was nice.
Good time.
What's up? I got you, man. All right. First topic of the day. Tonight, we are down to two teams. Michigan and UConn for all the marbles. This is a big game. This is an important game. This is the game. This is the number 1 seed Michigan against the number 2 seed UConn Huskies. This is pitting basically the two best teams. Well, one of the best teams against UConn. This is a good game. I'm excited for this. I will start by saying if I said UConn was going to lose last week, I was wrong, and I will say raise receipts to Mac. You were right. And to my good friend Walt, you were right. Michigan is the truth. I slept on them. I accept that as well. Raise receipts are always available on boystudios.com. However, like me and Walt said last week, it didn't matter who was going to win that game because the butt whipping you're about to take tonight is going to be insane. I believe Michigan is a 6.5 point favorite. They should be a 10.5 point favorite because you're about to get mollywopped, beat up. You're going to get your lunch money taken, and you're going to have to walk home. You're going to have no bus fare. I'm going to go to Walt first because I know Mac wants to say something. So let's gang up on him, Walt. What you got? Who's going to win and what's going to happen?
So, look, definitely like you, I'm on the same boat. I'm going to give Mac his props. He called it out on UConn. And if I was wrong, I, too, will eat my slice of humble pie. But that said, Michigan, in my book, is going to win this game. I'm not necessarily sure that it's going to be the blowout, but I could see them winning by at least, 7 to 10 points at the end of the day, right? They've been scoring 90-plus points every game this tournament. They've been one of the highest scoring teams, so they kind of made history with that. Right. So I think they are either they will make history if they score over 90 points again in this game. So I think that's where UConn needs to kind of like shore it up. They need to come out and score the ball tonight or stop Michigan from putting the ball in the basket. And so far, nobody's been able to do that so far in the tournament. So unless Michigan comes out cold, which I don't think is going to happen, we will see. Now, we do have to look at some injuries. I know that the young man twisted his ankle and I think sprained his MCL. So that's something to look out for. He did come back in the second half and, hit a couple of threes and stuff like that. But you know how those injuries do. You could be running off a little adrenaline and then the next day you're going to feel that pain, right? And so we'll see how it goes. UConn also, I think one of their point guards is also injured and questionable for tonight as well. So, look, they're both not fully healthy coming into this game. I'm gonna, before I pass it off to Mac here, something from the water boy, like you can do it. I'm gonna say you can't do it. Not really.
I'll take it.
All right, Mac.
All right,
let's go. What you got?
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna do a turnaround. And we're going to rewind to last week at 12 minutes into our show, where my coworkers here, I said to them both, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are smoking or drinking. I was like, but they both, my coworkers here, 100% said, you're right. If, UConn wins, okay, great. I don't even think UConn's going to win. Brother Ray was like, bro, Illinois is stacked. They've got two big men, blah, 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 blah. I was like, bro, I'm like, you're great. And of course, my friend, brother Duncan, with the data, what the data can't tell us is simply this. You cannot measure the heart of a champion. Okay, America? I went on record last week and said, I'm telling you, momentum matters. We're going for 3 chips. We got 2 in the bag. Every gentleman in that room, besides the freshman on that roster, was a part of the last 2. They didn't win last year, but they all know this is what it takes to win. It's called the heart of a champion. Michigan, kudos to them. The last time, as a Max Facts, I want America to chime in to tell me the name of the 5 freshmen that made it to the championships way back when against another team. So I want someone to chime in and tell me what year and who can name any of the players. So I want everyone to know, you heard it, and I told America last week, write it down. UConn's going to win this game and going to go to the championship. And I'm going to tell you tonight, it's great that Michigan has a high-powered team. However, this is their first time in the Big Dance in a long time. This is called your feet to the fire. This is the championship game. Mr. Hurley only has to tell them this. We've won 2 in the last 4 years. Who wants 3 in the room? I'll wait. The answer is everyone does. You know what we need to do? We just saw him beat up. You're right. Blew him out the water, bro. I turned it off in the 3rd quarter and just watched another show and was on my phone watching a highlight skew up, 70, 75, 80. I'm like, damn, man, they ain't even trying over there. So what I'm saying to America is this. I will be watching just like everyone else, and both of my coworkers here will hear my mouth on next Monday when I tell you that I'm writing it down that UConn is winning this game against Michigan. You heard it here first, America. I'm telling you.
Before I rebuttal this, let me say some shout outs. Jeff Peter, what's up, my friend? Thank you for watching. And BG, thank you so much for watching as well.
What up, DJ?
Jeff Peter says a sleeper game. Michigan destroys UConn for a very boring game. Yes, Jeff, I agree with you 100%. Jeff, all right, here's my thoughts. But let me say this as well, and I'm gonna go back to Mac and then go back to Walt. Like Walt said, Michigan has been dominating. I think they're one of the few teams ever to drop 90 a game. They're averaging close to 90 a game. You're gonna have to outscore them to beat this team. You're not gonna play better defense in Michigan. You're gonna have to outscore them. I don't think you can outscore them. You lucked into this by Duke's Mr. Boozer throwing a pass that he shouldn't have. I don't know what he was doing. You technically shouldn't be there, but part of the game, people make mistakes, so you're there. Kudos to you. Like I said, I eat crow. I didn't think you were going to get this far. Michigan looks like they're so amped and ready for this. UConn may want their 3rd, but guess what? I want to be 18 years old. That's not happening either. So you know what? Good luck. I wish you the best. It ain't happening. It's a wrap. There's a lady outside. She's overweight and she's singing because you're about to catch one. I cannot wait for next week because you're going to catch it. I'm telling you, this is a wrap. All right, Matt, go ahead. I'll let you have your little rebuttal. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So listen, America, again, at 16 minutes in, Mr. Ray's receipts over here said bro, there's no way they're going to win this game. Illinois is going to roll all over them. They don't have a chance. Just like he just said tonight, America. And so, again, you know what? How about this, gentlemen? Let's do some put up or shut up. What are we willing to wager? You tell me, and next week on the show, we'll do it. So if you're that confident, Ray,
I think it would be.
Ray, what's up?
I think it would be so cool to actually get a slice of pie, the pie that you pick for us, Mac, and we eat a slice of it in front of America.
Yes, I think that would be great.
The humble pie. Yep.
The humble pie. Well, you know,
right.
but Mac, I think you should go to the bakery now and just save your pie and get ready to eat because you're about to catch one.
What do you want from me, Ray?
I want the same thing. I want you to go to the nearest bakery and have a piece of pie and then eat it in front of everybody on the show. And I think that's fantastic.
No
problem. A piece of cake or a piece of pie. Get ready to eat it.
Okay.
Right here in front of everybody.
Pie. I'll look for a sugar-free. Yeah, no problem at all. And you know,
no problem.
We love it. Love it.
No problem. That's right. I want you to follow us obviously on YouTube, boinkstudios.com. Yes. All right. So Dunk, I'm going to let Walter you end this conversation. We could go on.
I'm expecting a great game tonight. I think it's going to be back and forth at first. And I think late, Michigan is going to start to pull away. And I think they're going to win there's going to be a 7 to 10 point win. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. UConn's going to bring the fight and bring the energy. But I think at the end of the day, that Michigan is just too high powered for them to keep up.
Yes. All right. We're switching. We're staying in basketball, but we're switching to the NBA. And the biggest controversy is Jason Ivey, who is no longer part of the Bulls. The Chicago Bulls waived guard Jaden Ivey for conduct detrimental to the team Monday, hours after he posted a lengthy video rant on social media about religion and other topics that included anti-gay Semitism. Ivey made critical comments about LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Michael Jordan. He went on this rant for over 30 minutes, and ipso facto, he is no longer part of the Bulls. I will say this as well. His biggest comment was, you may have all these rings, but these rings will not take you into the kingdom of heaven. Okay. I will start by this. You're getting paid $10 million. You have your beliefs. That's great. You can have your beliefs. But for you to go on any social media live and go on this rant, I think is insane. I don't know what you're thinking, what you're doing. I know he's got some personal issues, some domestic issues. Regardless of that, I don't know where your agent was at this time that didn't stop you from doing this. I don't know where your family, where your friends were, because I know I have two friends right here on this platform that would have stopped me from doing something like this.
Yeah.
And could have prevented me from losing $10 million. He's lucky he's getting his $10 million. So I don't know how that works in the NBA, but I guess there's some type of clause in his contract where he's able to keep his money. I think a big part of it is, dude, you're not going to be a bench player and take shots at LeBron, Curry, and Michael Jordan. I think you're crazy. I don't know what transpired you to go on this rant. You know, I am a man of faith as well, but there's no one on this planet I'm taking shots at those guys and think that I'm a bench player is not going to have any repercussions on this. I'm going to let Matthew go first. What do you think about this whole mess? And do you think he will ever get to play in the NBA again?
Well, thanks, Ray. The one thing I can say in reference to all this, you're right. It is called free speech. We're entitled to say what we want to say, but we also know now we live in a cancel culture as it is. You know, your actions can get you fired now. You know, we've seen CEOs lose their company because they went to a concert and someone did a spotlight on them, and it was his assistant. And he's like, either these two are hiding for the wrong reason or this is his mistress. And come to find out, it was. And the guy, you know, made a statement, but they released him from his, he was the CEO and they had to let him go. So we've seen how your words, you can say what you want to say, but you got to prepare for the consequences. And that's what I think this guy did not realize. I mean, Jason, you're right, fellas. PR, you should listen to your PR reps. You should listen to your agent. He should have said something to him first and he would have told him, absolutely not. You can say these three things and not this. I don't know if the NBA does this or not, to have a rookie symposium and for them to have a conversation about social media, things you do and don't say, things you can do on a private burner account, but you can't say publicly. Now, do I think this guy's going to get another shot? You know what? Football is different than basketball. I think so, because there's so many positions and there's other leagues he can play for. I mean, and this, hey, we talked last week, expansion. he might get put on if he doesn't play this next season. They may put him on out there because they need players. They at least need talent enough to fill out a roster. I think he'll get a shot if he does not come back currently as the president stands. Obviously, the Bulls waived him. They're not going to bring the guy back. But we also know, gentlemen, 100% well, if this was Ant-Man who made that comment, it is what it is. He's playing tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, it just depends on the caliber of player that you are, dictates what your mouth will a team allow credence to let you talk whatever you want to say because they know they need you. So I think that's the difference for this guy.
Very valid arguments. Very good points, Mac. I agree with you. All right, well, what you got, my friend?
Look, I think Jaden, like you both said, you're entitled to say, to believe what you want to think, right? To believe how you believe, whether that's a faith, orientation, whatever it may be, right? But you need to use wisdom these days. And, like you said, Ray, where were his friends at? Where were the people in his corner that had his back to say, hey, what are you going to want to hear to talk about? What are you going to say? You need to think twice about saying it. Maybe he really doesn't care about it because, after NBA players waived, they're still paid the guaranteed portion of their contract. So that's why he's still getting that money. It may be with the stretch provision, which is like stretched out over the remainder of his contract
season,
plus 1 year, right? So they add an additional year to that for teams to be able to pay it out unless they give him a buyout. So I think personally, is his career done? I think he will need to go on an apology tour to get things correct, to do some charity work, to show himself in a different light than things that he said, right? To really come out there and really show himself. Otherwise, you need to get Jaden Ivey. I mean, it's funny that his last name is Ivey because he's going to need that for his career to be resuscitated, right? Honestly.
Preach, brother. Preach, yeah. Preach. I want to say this as well. To Mac's point, I think this was Ant-Man, SGA, Nikola Jokic. If this was one of these top stars, was Luka, I think this would be a fine, a slap on the wrist, maybe miss a couple of games. You got to know your lane. And again, where are his friends? I don't understand. All these guys have a million friends or hang-alongs or tag-alongs. I don't understand. I have a couple of really good friends, and I know for a fact Mac would have been like, dude, get off. He would have grabbed my phone, threw it out the window, done something to help me not get kicked off the Bulls. I don't understand. I know if he was with me, he'd be like, dude, he would have tackled me, take the phone away, save me from myself. I don't understand where his friends were. I think it's crazy that it just got to that point. I will say this again, bringing up those three guys, I don't think helped at all. You're taking shots at, arguably one of the greatest players ever in LeBron James. You're taking shots at Jordan, Steph Curry. Like, what do you think was going to happen taking shots at those dudes? Like, I don't know. I don't get it, dude. I feel bad, but it is what it is. Well, do you think, like Mac said, if there was somebody else on the upper echelon tier, do you think the penalty would have been different?
Absolutely. Because those guys put butts in seats, right? So they're the people that drive the fan, that drive the money. So the NBA, even though they won't tolerate that, they would have suspended those guys probably for a few games, right? And let them fill it in their wallet and say like, hey, you need to go on an apology tour. The NBA's PR people would say like, hey, you need to go do work with this organization, that organization to put yourself in a positive light, because the NBA does not play that. They don't want any negative press for themselves, right? So I think Jaden has a long way to go. But if it was somebody else like Ant-Man or like SGA or Joker, they would have been suspended.
No question. Mac, will you agree?
Yeah, man. I'll give you another example. Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant. For the last 2 seasons, this dude has done stuff off the court, and they've suspended him. And, in rehab, I mean, like, he's done so many things, but because of his talent, they have to deal with him. Like, you know what I mean? But now, John Morant's a situation now where they're trying to move on from him, and there are teams that aren't willing to deal with him now. Like, he may be stuck with the Grizzlies because he's the only marquee talent that they have. They've not built around him since he's been there, but we've all seen it the last 2 years. The whole situation with the gun, the video. He went on and did something else off court. Like, he's had all these issues, and Adam Silverman's like, "What are we gonna do?" Well, let's give him some fines. Okay, great. And then guys like Barkley have gone on the air and said, "Listen, at one point they're going to get tired of there's only so much they will tolerate, you know." And when you're this dude is even 6th Man of the Year award winner.
Yeah, he's
like,
not.
Dude,
he's not even
roster.
that dude.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're on the rock. You should be happy that they're paying you. Like, you know what I mean? And you think you're entitled. And it's just unfortunate that you're right. No one's in his ear or someone making good enough decisions to help him to say, bruh, nah, his agent, you're right. His agent may drop him after this. Like, you're nothing but a hassle now. I don't even want you no more. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's one of those things is, you know, you gotta know who you're dealing with, dude. You gotta know your audience. You gotta pick and choose your battles, dude. And you gotta know where you are. You gotta stay in your lane. And I feel like you didn't stay in your lane. And dude, it's crazy, dude. Let me get some of these comments. Tom Clark, voice of Boink Studios, voice of 6M Podcast, Tom Clark's main event. I honestly don't believe this is cancel culture. You guys are right. The freedom of speech dictates you should be able to say whatever you want if you want to say it, whether it's good or bad, but you don't live in a vacuum. The Bulls couldn't do this. They wouldn't have done it. And I'd be shocked if there were not social media classes for these guys to help them understand what they should and should not be doing when online. Preach, brother. I agree.
Yeah.
And Jeff,
I don't get it.
Jeff. Yeah, I agree, dude. And Maurice is in the house. He was like, he's like, Ja. And Jeff says he would spear me, prevent myself. Thank you. I appreciate it. I also believe that he's right. If they were to come out and say something to smooth over, who knows if it would have even had it. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I truly don't know, dude.
I'm with you, Tom.
It's a good point.
Yeah, apology tour might help him. I mean,
might help him, dude.
Yeah.
It worked. It worked for Ja, but he's not Ja. So to your point, Mac, and I meant to give you your flowers. So here's your applause.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
He's like I said, you got to know your lane. We're sticking with hoop because there's a lot of hoop today. UCLA beat the living breaks out of South Carolina last night. I was like, man, I threw my towel in because I felt bad. I was like, man, this is insane. They won their first NCAA Women's Championship, 79-51. Led by Gabrielle Jarquez's 21. Laura Betts double-double. The Bruins dominated throughout, holding a 30-point lead in the third quarter. All 5 starters had double figures. Shout out to Coach Corey Close. At the end of the day, I'm going to say this. UCLA, at one point, you guys, I don't know if you watched the game or not, played 5 guards. And they were shooting the lights out.
Lights out.
I've never seen that strategy done on the women's side. I think it's been done in college men's. But they played 5 guards and said, you know what? We're going to score like crazy. And those girls can shoot the lights out. I was like, oh, my God. Great strategy. It worked. I think Dawn Staley didn't see that coming. And they just went on this scoring fest. And it was like pass, shoot. Pass, shoot. Buckets. I had an umbrella because it was raining threes. I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy, dude. UCLA should give them their love. They came out. They wanted it. You know, Dawn Staley, this is her second time getting to the final dance and couldn't close, but props to her. She's an awesome coach, great mind, but UCLA, boy, they got their first ship, and they're going to remember that forever. What did you think of this game, and what did you think of their strategy and how successful it was?
Kudos to UCLA coaches and the players. They did their thing, celebrating their first championship for the women's team. So that's great for them. It's a storied, organization. So kudos to them again. I think that Dawn and team, they couldn't do anything. They were not ready for that, right? They were probably looked at all the tape, and I don't believe that UCLA did any of that during any other game in the tournament. So it caught them off guard, and they didn't know what to do. to try to fight back. I think some of their best players, were forwards and power forwards and stuff, and so I think that those guards were too quick for them. They would pass the ball and they weren't as agile or anything like that. So I think that's what the issue was, right? Kudos to Dawn Staley and her team to get there. I think they've been in the finals like in the last 4 years, like 2 or 3 times. In the last 4 or 5 years. So kudos to them to make it there. Again, but UCLA, they wanted it and they got it.
All right, Mac, what did you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they were caught off guard? Because again, quote me if I'm wrong, I've never seen a women's team do a 5-guard set ever. And it threw everybody off. And the announcers were talking about it. They're talking about it on all the sports media conglomerates. It was crazy, dude. So
yeah,
that was it. What happened?
Okay, so it was 4-guard set. For clarity, the one thing I will say is this: first and foremost, kudos to Corey Close, their coach. She was like, "Listen, I'm looking at this footage. I think we can shock them by doing something different." Mm-hmm. And to her team, as far as assistants, put the plan together. Went and had a discussion with the ladies. This is how I think we can win. Our guards, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to execute this. If it doesn't work, going into halftime, we'll switch back up and go usual format as far as players and positions. So I will give her the genius, and I was really surprised that Dawn didn't recognize this and at halftime switch up. Like, girl, that's what championship, that's what you go to halftimes for. Like, I was surprised that she did not take an opportunity to try and switch her lineup. Like, if you see it, what plays you're supposed to expect on the court, and you don't see them, and then they're just running, gunning, shooting, and scoring at will. Why would you not at halftime switch up? Like, that's what great coaches do, because I guarantee you Close would have been like, it's not working. We're going to go back to game plan B. A worked and continued to work, and we saw the ending result. So they did get beat 100%, hands down, 100% kudos. Let's shine again for Corey Close, the coach, to make a brilliant move, because no one else had done it all season. Quote, I might be wrong. I don't remember any teams off season doing this approach just to win a game, because the regular season is long and daunting, but you're in the big dance, and she switched to this for this game. They did not do it coming into Final Four. They went into this game knowing that this is what we're going to do. So kudos to her. And you know what? To the grace that Dawn Staley, she was like flat out, I'm going to give props to her. They won the game. We did not have it. I don't need to take any more time and shine away from her. I 100% are giving 100% credence to her, because we all know what happened the game before. And Dawn 100% as a woman of character and stability and grace, and said, I give her props. They had it. We didn't have it. So yeah.
I got you. All right. I'm going to ask one more question about this. To your point, Mac, and you've been on fire today, Mac Abdul-Jabbar. Do you think, like, when they made this switch and you have all these guards out there and you don't see a big center, you don't see a forward, and you're there shooting and shooting, why didn't Dawn at halftime make the adjustment? Like, to your point, Mac, I don't understand why she didn't. Did she think maybe she was going to stop and go back to the traditional 5 set with, your center, your forward, and power forward, etc.? Because it was working, and they said, we're sticking with this, and Dawn didn't make the adjustment. So was she just like caught like deer in headlights, or did she think, oh, they can't keep shooting like this, they're going to have to switch back? It was one or the other. So what do you think?
Yeah. So full disclosure, maybe, just maybe, the clutter and mayhem of the previous game may have clouded judgment. However, you've got assistants that should recognize this too. Like, where's her center at? Where's their power forward at? Where is she? She's still not in the game. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you pay people around you to see other aspects of the game that you may not. And that's what I don't get. It's not that Dawn is not a great coach. It's just, I think the mayhem from the previous getting to the last two with the Final Four situation may have been the circumstance that caught her off guard. I don't know, so
all right.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, Walt. So again, my question to you as well. Was it a shock to the system that was like deer in headlights? She didn't know how to react? Or did she think it wasn't going to last? Eventually, they're going to shoot themselves out, and then they're going to have to go back to the original format of, like I said, your guards, your center, etc.
It's like Max said, they should have adjusted it. After the first half, they should have come out with adjustments. But by the time that was going to happen, it was already too late. They were already down by a bunch of points. So what could you do to try to weather the storm? Like, I'm sure they tried to do it like during the game too, by bringing in some of their players or whatever. But look, like UCLA had a brilliant game plan, and they were like, "Hey, this is what we're going to roll with," and they threw it at them. And no matter what South Carolina did, they could not respond. I'm sure they even went into the locker room in halftime and tried to say, like, "Hey, we're going to match their guards," but their guard play, UCLA's guard play, they could not hold up to it.
And the shooting was insane.
Insane.
I've never seen 3-point shooting it was like a 3-point shooting clinic. Kudos to them, dude. I give them all the props in the world. All right, in the NBA coaching rules, Matt Malone is the new coach of UCLA. That's right. Reports suggest Malone is replacing Hubert Davis as the new coach. Malone was the winningest coach in Denver Nuggets history, achieving 8 consecutive winning seasons before his firing in April 2025. He has not coached college since 2001, making this transition a significant shift. So we shall see. I think this is a kind of an odd move. I thought Malone would have tried to stay in the pros because it's been 25 years since he's coached college ball. And to coach North Carolina, you don't have a lot of rope. This isn't some Division III school. I'll kick this off. I don't know if this is the right move for him. A great-minded coach. His success in Denver is, unparalleled. However, college is a different game. The rope is a lot different in North Carolina, as we stated last week. You can't go first round in a tournament and get kicked out in North Carolina world, in Dean Smith world. You're out of there. So I think he's taking a chance, and I wish him all the best. Do you think, Walt, this was the right move for him, and do you think he'll have success?
I think that he will have some success. He knows how to coach. He knows how to win. He's done it on the NBA level, coaching the Denver Nuggets to a championship a few seasons ago. To their first championship. Well, I think it's their first championship. I may be wrong. Check me on that, America. But I think that it's a good hire for them, for him. Now, do I think that UNC should have hired him? I'm not sure. College kids may want to come play for him. It may say, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. He'll coach me up to go to the NBA to get me ready. So maybe that'll attract some high level recruits and everything. But I am not sure. We will have to wait and see. It's going to be a wait and see game. If I had to guess, I think he will have some success there. But I just don't know, man. I don't know how many coaches have left the NBA, gone to coach in college, and found success.
That's a long duration of time.
Yeah.
All right, Mac. Ball's in your court, man. Will he be successful, or is he going to go back to the NBA?
Well, listen. Let's find out the details of his contract. If it's 3 years, after 3 years, will they let him go? That'll be the real mystery. So some max facts for America here. Here's what you guys may not know. Here's something that's interesting to know. His daughter plays at UNC, but she plays on the volleyball team. So he's got a reason of maybe why an opportunity to see his kid more. Could that have been a driving force in reference to him going? I think maybe him to take the job just for the opportunity to be closer to his baby girl. I mean, I know I would. And the real matter of the situation, the last time he coached in college was the 99-2001 season as assistant at Manhattan College. So believe me when I tell you, you're right. It's been a long time since this guy's seen college ball. Now, do I think he's going to succeed? He's got the NBA experience behind him. I mean, the Nuggets did win a chip with the Colt Nokovic 22-23 season. So he's got the opportunity and experience to say, can I coach them? And he has at least the pedigree for the players to listen, to buy in. I know what it takes to win an NBA championship. None of you dudes have ever been to the pros. At least he has that experience to fall back on. If we do it, if we come up with systems and schemes, like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what they were reaching for. This guy at least has the pedigree for them to buy in. We know what happened when the previous coach just left, but this guy's got recent experience of being a winner, and this is what they need. And boosters will buy in because of the pedigree he can bring on his resume to the school. So I think he's got a good shot. Are they going? They better do better than first round next year. Amen. I can tell you that.
All right. Jeff says, yes, it was Denver's first championship. And Maurice says he will be successful because they still have the culture and believes in structure of the coaching style. Get players ready for the NBA. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to put him in Larry Brown category or Patino category. I think you guys have had success in both. To your point, Mac, is Manhattan College. If he had success for University of Kentucky or Michigan or one of these big schools, and then he went to Denver, I would say yes.
Utah.
He hasn't had that big team experience like the two coaches I mentioned who's had success. So I don't know. Again, we shall see. The rope's going to be little. I'm telling you, Mr. Malone, good luck. I wish you the best. I wish no ill will to your coaching success, but I just feel like you were so good as an NBA coach. I really thought you were going to stay that route. I do appreciate, to your point, Mac, the relationship he has with his daughter, and there's a chance to be close to his daughter. So as a father, I do respect that and get it. But I just think the safer route would have been to stay in the NBA because there's got to be coaching jobs coming up. So do you agree with me or not?
I agree with you 100%. You're right, because we know the turnover is coming. After the season's over, just like with the NFL Black Friday, when the season ends, there's and we saw this past offseason, 12 head coaches cut. The NBA, same philosophy. There's 30, and it'll be 32 soon. But we know at least 5 to 6 positions will be available after the season's over. It's inevitable. And you're right. Should he have waited? I think he should have. But I get why UNC hawked after him. You know what I mean? If we don't, then someone else is going to when the season ends. With the NBA to try and get him. So I understand exactly the move and why. So good for them.
All right. I'll let you end this, Mr. Duncan.
So, look, I wish him the best. Do I think he's going to succeed? I think he's going to have relative success. I don't think he's ever coached college ball before, so I think it's going to be a new challenge for him. When I think about this, I think of not comparing him to Bill Belichick, saying he's the caliber of coach, because Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches of all time in the NFL, right? But think about it. Bill left the Patriots and went to college ball. He struggled, right?
Yes.
So just because you have success in the league doesn't mean it's gonna translate to the other league, right? So it's just a wait and see for me. I hope he does, but I'm not sure.
Applaud that.
Yeah.
Great point. It's time to take me out to the bowl game. We're gonna talk about Conor McGregor. No, Conor Griffin, the Pittsburgh Phenom, the 19-year-old shortstop and baseball's top prospect, made his MLB debut for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's the first teenager to debut for Pittsburgh since 1998. He is getting a 9-year, $140 million contract. I am really surprised Pittsburgh, is paying this guy, but he's put up some numbers, so we shall see. I know he went 1 for 3 in his first debut. Kid's got power. I wish him all the best as well. I'm going to start with Mac. Do you think Connor will have success? Do you see him being a household name, or do you think he's too young and maybe should have had some AAA or AA experience before heading straight to the majors? Because he's had none of that. So what are your thoughts?
This is a buyer beware moment. If Connor succeeds, we'll see more of it. But we know with MLB versus NBA, they've got farm leagues to develop you for a reason. If you don't go to college and compete, they've got the double, AAA, 1A leagues for a reason. You normally take at least 5 or 6 years to get the call up to go to the Nationals if you put the work in. This kid is the phenom. It's all the news. You're right, 100 mil. Saw footage of his game debut. They showed a footage of mom in the crowd. Unfortunately, dad wasn't next to mom, so I don't know that relationship. But I think this is going to buyer beware moment. If he struggles, then the fallback easy answer is going to be, well, he's young. The pressure got to him, the money, the trying to prove himself, it got to him. He caved under the pressure. That'll be the easiest answer. I'm surprised the Pirates did. They just don't. Their franchise. It would made sense if New York, because New York's got the money and the cachet to do it. But I think, for what it's worth, they're not a marquee baseball team like they used to be as far as spotlight, like national news. It made news because of the circumstance. But if he doesn't do well, we probably won't hear about him because he's not in a major market where it's a news story to talk about. So I think he's in the best situation. Like if you went to the Diamondbacks or the Colorado Rockies, this wouldn't even make the news. But because it's Pittsburgh, it's closer to the New York market. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out an anthem to say, like, if he doesn't do well, it'll get swept. It won't be a big deal because of the circumstance and where he's playing. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess.
All right. Walt, what you got?
Mac, I have to disagree, man. It's $175 million. You guys, but you paid this guy, right? I try to do my best Chris Rock there, right?
Chris Rock, I liked it.
So it's a lot of money to commit to this guy. I understand why they did it, right? He was the minor league player of the year in 2025. He had a 3.33 batting average, hit like 20 something on home runs. OPS was like, I think over 5.6. It
was close to 6.
Yeah, close to 6, right? So I think that is what they saw in him. They're like, hey, this guy is lights out. But as you see now, his batting average is like 111 right now, which is like a third of what it was in the minor league. So they're saying that he's adjusting to major league pitching. He's still 19 years old, right? So I think they're paying the Pirates have definitely taken a chance and placed a bet on him and his potential, right? That's what they're doing here. They're betting on the potential that they see and what he's shown in the minor leagues. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we may have seen this in other players as well, right? Where they look like they're going to crush it in the minor league and then go to the major leagues and it's womp, right? So I think we have to wait and see for this guy. I hope that he does succeed, and he looks like he can be lights out. 19, but I think people need to be careful and give this guy some grace and give him time to develop into like his complete self, right? Like the Kobe that is going to come right into the league and just 19, 20 years old and just be a superstar from jump. We don't know. We have to see. But I think give this guy some grace, and then we'll find out the player that he's going to be.
All right. Before I get to my next point on this, Jeff Peters, too soon. He needs to be a proven commodity for giving such a large contract. Look what happened to the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson. Buyer beware. Kudos. Eric Helm, what's up, my friend? Thank you for joining us. Also irresponsible to give a teenager contract like that. Pittsburgh is a small market team and cannot afford any mistakes with their payroll. Mac brought up this point. Are you two friends, Eric and Mac?
Right.
Paul Spence. They have Paul Skens to build around, which is not going to be easy for them. They had years of control over these young players. Skens is the focus. Yeah, he's a franchise player. So I will say that, yes. I thought, to Eric's point, I thought they're building the team around Paul Skens because he's a Cy Young Award winner. I thought they're going to build around him. Connor Griffin, it's a different world, and he's not hitting like he was, and he's struggling a little bit now. Maybe he'll adjust, maybe he won't, but $140 million, 9 years is a lot of money for a small market team like Pittsburgh. Not to poo-poo on Pittsburgh, but it's not New York, it's not LA. So
exactly.
It's hard. You've invested a lot of money in Skens to put that type of money into a 19-year-old.
Yes,
is a big risk. So we shall see.
What would you guys do if you were 19, your 19-year-old selves? What would you do with $140 million?
Buy the best agent I could possibly get and buy the best PR person, so I don't end up like Jaden Ivey.
Whatever his hobbies are going to be magnified times 10. So the cars, the lavish lifestyle, the jewelry, if he's into hip hop on any level, this dude's gonna have jewelry out the his mom and dad can't tell him what to do. You know what I mean? Like, get out the house. I'll buy my own house and do whatever. You know what I mean? This guy's got hopefully the young man is grounded with good people around him. He's going to get made up friends out of the woodworks now. And then maybe if he's had a bad relationship, there's going to be people that's going to try and chime in and take him for his money. Any kind of scandal he's had.
Show up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This is the unfortunate side of success that we hear about players after the fact. I hope he has good people in his corner. Hope he has a strong relationship. Because like I said before, they spotlighted and highlighted his mom in the crowd, but dad wasn't there. I don't know what the relationship with his dad. So hopefully the young man can stay grounded. You know what I mean? We've seen it in the NFL too many times.
We're going to switch gears. We're going to the boxing ring. And Deontay Wilder is finally back and beat Derek Chiosa, beat the brakes out of him in a big fight this weekend. He defeated him in a split decision, scrappy but entertaining heavyweight bout. He won on all three judges' scorecards. Wilder's 45-4-1 with 43 knockouts. While Chiosa's 36-14 with 23 knockouts. He went through the ropes. Now Deontay Wilder's calling out Anthony Joshua. I know that Deontay Wilder's having some financial issues right now, so I don't know if this is a money grab, but I believe in my heart, I don't think he'll be heavyweight champion again. He couldn't beat Tyson Fury. I don't see him getting to that upper echelon again to even vouch for the heavyweight title. I'm not even sure he could beat Anthony Joshua at this point. Derek is an older gentleman, sort of somewhat of a journeyman, could take a big shot, but, the guy's got 14 losses. Not to poo-poo on Derek, but, it is what it is. Do you think he could beat Anthony Joshua? And do you, in any shape, way, or form, Mac, think Deontay Wilder could ever get a heavyweight title shot?
Okay, so full disclosure, Ray just touched on it. This is a money grab situation in America. He's willing to take the fights because financially, just so this is on record, his wife is trying to divorce him and trying to take more than half because he has not been in the spotlight recently. She's like, the lifestyle that they were living, she's not happy about that. The man's career earnings put him in at least 20 mil. But if you mismanage your paper, that's why you become a fighter who's desperate to get back in the ring. And maybe that's what's going on. This split up, and I would imagine it's taking a toll on him. And of course, people around him saying, bro, this dude's 40. He's not 35. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Wear and tear, and then conditioning to get back in the ring is what he had to do. Now, you're right. It was a decision, Ray. It came down to decision. He was on ahead on all cards. But, is this guy Anthony? No, he's not. And you're right. His last big claim to fame fights was 2020 and 21 with Tyson Fury. Mind you, he lost both. But again, those were his best. Where I think a lot of his paper came from was those fights. And then if 21 was the last time you're really active in the ring, making good money, being a sports athlete, you know what happens to you with your life after is where the problem lies with a lot of these guys. Now, the issue is going to be this. His last fight was Tyrell Hendon, and on 25th, and he knocked the dude out. Good for him. That was 25, mind you, June. So this is almost a whole year later that this guy has not been in the ring. That's called rust. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he should have had a recent match to keep him in the game. And I think that's where the limitation happened for him. And, you know, he has to fight again. So, yeah.
All right. Well, what you got, my friend?
Look, I kudos to him for winning. You know, I know, you know, they're both of the guys were, you know, in their 40s, 40 plus. So kudos to Deontay to showing he still has a little bit in his bag. I think, you know, I can't speak to his personal situation. I know what it looks like. I don't know what his coins are in his bank and stuff like that. But what I do know is that Deontay is very flashy, very flamboyant. Seems like he lives a flashy life. So, you know, with everything that's going on, you know, I think he made about $6 to $8 million on this last fight against Yoshi. And so look, he's gonna have to fight again. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Deontay go do a fight for the Paul brothers and try to get up his bag somehow. So don't be surprised if, you know, he goes to them and is like, hey, I need to get this bag. I need to get my coins up because I'm going through this in my life. If that's what it is, he could just be like trying to fund his lifestyle because he's going to have to give over half of everything away. You know what I'm saying? So look, that's about all I can say. Do I think he deserves a title shot? I don't think so. I think, you know, give it to some of these young and up and comers and, you know, stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know if his name is big enough anymore to bring out the fans anymore to see him fight. And if he did fight Joshua, I think Joshua will win that fight.
Unfortunately, I believe he would too. I don't think he could beat Joshua at this point. So,
yeah.
All right, we're switching to hoops. And the person we've been talking about for weeks, Steph Curry, is finally back. I'm happy for him. He scored 29 points in 26 minutes. But unfortunately, the Warriors lost 117 and 116 against the Houston Rockets. Curry played his heart out. The big question is, now with the quote-unquote big three of Porzingis, Curry, and Draymond, can they actually do anything in these playoffs? I will say I think it's a little too late. I think that, you know, they're in the play-in. I think they may survive and stay in the 10th seed. I think they're too far ahead to drop to 11, so I think they're locked into 10. I'd be shocked if they win the first round of the end season tournament. I mean, of the play-in tournament. I'd be very surprised. You know, Curry hasn't gelled with these guys, hasn't played with these guys long enough. I'm glad that he's back. But again, we talked about this 3 or 4 episodes ago. I think it took too long. Not to poo-poo on Curry. It is what it is. He was hurt. You can't mess with your health. So I want him back healthy. But unfortunately, like I said, it is what it is. Well, do you think Golden State will do anything in the playoffs?
It depends on who they play, you know, in the play-in. If they do get in and make it somehow as a 10 seed, you know, into the playoffs, whoever they play, depending on the seeding, they're going to play one of those top dogs in the West. And I don't think they have a shot. You know, no shade to Curry or anything. He will be the offense of that team. You know, he would drive them. Draymond is a shell of himself. Porzingis is a shell of himself. I don't think that they can do anything against one of those top teams, the top 3 teams in the West, unfortunately. So no, it'll be an early exit for Golden State. Look, if Curry is up to play next season, I would consider, as an organization, I would consider shutting him down for the season and say, like, hey, let's get Jimmy back. Let's get our other guys back, and let's try to go for it when we're all somewhat healthy and see if we can make a run. You know what I'm saying? They have an old roster. The core guys are older. So if I was the Golden State Warriors, I would shut Curry down because look, he was out for a reason, right? He just came back. Why take a chance on him re-aggravating that, hurting himself just to see him play? Look, I love watching Curry play. He's one of my favorite players, but I would not risk it.
You had a really good argument, my friend. I can't even hate on that. Mac seems to be completely opposite of you. So what you got, Mac?
Okay, all right, America. I don't know. I said this last week with NCAA. I don't know what Walt or Ray are drinking or smoking to think like we'll just save them for next season and see what happens. It's called a heart of a warrior to play. Now, listen, currently at present, with them being the 10th seed, it's probably going to be a toss between the Clippers and the Trailblazers. Trailblazers are 8th or 9th right now, and then the Clips are between 9 and 10. So, as far as the Clippers go, like, it depends if they got players that's going to be willing to start, and I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. Like, if they play the Trailblazers, I don't really know anyone in their town that they've got in their roster is going to make noise either. So I think they have a good chance of winning that first round. As Steph Curry on one or two legs, the man plays with passion and desire to win. See, let me ask you two gentlemen, are you all in on the tank philosophy of telling us, like, let's just hold Steph till next season. Why take a chance? So we're just going to go let him just sit on the bench and tank, and fans go see the team and not see him play, knowing he's healthy. Gentlemen,
but Golden State's is not fighting for a top 2 or 3 pick. If my team is garbage the whole season, yes, I'm taking my brains out.
Listen, but they're in the playoffs, fellas. Period. They're in.
Preach, Walt. Talk to this man.
So look, you have Curry is the face of the team, right?
Yes.
So he literally just came back from injury. His first game was this weekend, right? He looked good. He only played, I think he only played like less than 30 minutes this game, right? So I
build him up.
Understand that. But look, hold on, Mac. Let me get out. Hold on. So, like, I think that, like, Curry, you have to understand the position that he's in, right? He's 37, 38 years old now. He's pushing, the limits, and he's had other injuries before. I think, look, you have to recognize real, as they say, right? We said, Ray asked if they're going to make any noise in the first round, not the play-in. Yes. Do I think that the Warriors can win the play-in? Yeah, they can win against any of those teams. We're talking about when the legit playoffs get here. The play-in is to get into the playoffs.
Yes, that's to make the playoffs.
That's not the first round, Mac. The first round is going to be against OKC, Denver, one of those other teams that they have to play. San Antonio. And they cannot touch those teams.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
So that is why I'm saying that.
Okay. All right. I stand corrected, America. All right. I thought Walt and Ray were drinking the Kool-Aid. And thank you for clarifying. That is why he's dunking data. Like, my philosophy is always the heart of the warrior spirit. That's why UConn's going to win tonight, America. You heard it again.
All right. Let's move on. Our last topic is something important and dear to me. We're going to talk about Luka Doncic. As you know, Luka Doncic is hurt. He is rehabbing along with Austin Reeves. I've been sad this past weekend. I've been very depressed because I don't know what's going to happen with my Lakers. But I spoke to my good friend God, and I said, God, if you could do anything to make my team better, please help me, God. For you guys who don't know, who watch our show, God is a Laker fan. And this just came in on the wire. Luka Doncic has traveled to Europe on Sunday to receive aggressive treatment on his injured hamstring in an effort to speed up his recovery. He is getting stem cell treatment as we speak. This dude is going to make the playoffs. If he makes it into the playoffs, it's over. All hell. Thank you, God. I appreciate you looking out for me. I love you so much. I knew you were going to help me out. Thank you. Let's go, Lakers. I think with Luka back, we are back in business. The fact that he is traveling to Europe to get fixed up because he can't get fixed in America because there's stuff in Europe that just is way advanced that is going to heal this brother. And thank you, Luka, for being the warrior, to being the fighter, to being a true Laker, and doing this for me. Let's take a minute and thank God and thank Luka for this great moment. I am so happy. Thank you. Walt, I know you want to talk. Go ahead.
Look, I think kudos to Luka for trying to do his best for his team, to give his team a shot, right? He wants to be like my man Mac always says, the best ability is
availability.
Boom. That is why he's trying to show out for his team and show up. Reeves is down for the rest of the regular season. He I don't know if he's gonna come back or how soon he'll come back.
He's getting treatment as well.
In order for the Lakers to have any semblance of a shot, they need Luka. Without Luka, they have nothing, unfortunately. So kudos to him. We have to wait and see if the treatment is going to work.
Oh, it will work.
Man, I pray that God answers all your prayers.
Thank you. But so do I. It's amazing. So do I.
We will see.
All right, Matt.
Okay. So America, full disclosure, you all need to know this. And I'm going to put Ray on blast. We had a discussion. I said, hey, these two guys are out. What's LeBron going to do now? Can he do it? He was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't talk about that. And I said to Ray, listen, good or bad news, the Lakers are relevant content to what we do as a network as far as Boink Studios. For any social outlet, whether the Lakers are winning or losing, it is news that people will listen to. And he was like, nah. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so we're just going to be a homer and not talk about, nah. I'm like, okay. Now, here's the point. The point is this. This is called the heart of what is the word I'm using now? Warrior as my theme, just like tonight's game. But what I will say is this. He could have just easily said, you know what? I'm out. It's over. It's a wrap. And then LeBron, bro, best of luck. I'm going to sit on this sideline and have some churros and nachos or whatever else to get off this Luka Zembic diet. So kudos to him for making the decision and then getting extra help and a discussion with doctors overseas to say, could this work? Yes or no. There is someone overseas over in Europe that is writing that if it works, will help them business-wise as far as a doctor boosting their credibility of the work they're trying to do. If it doesn't, it's the other way. You tried to help him, it didn't work. And he knows it's a chance. And that is why I will say again about Steph Curry, they have a chance with him on the court versus packing it in for the rest of the season. So those are my thoughts, America.
All right, I'm going to end it with this. At the end of the day, Luka's getting his treatment in Europe. He's there as we speak. So I'm praying things go well. I think if Austin Reeves is not back for the first round and they play either Minnesota or Houston, I believe they could barely squeak out. Only because everybody's heard of Minnesota and Houston's kind of flippy floppy. Anybody else, Denver, I will admit it right here, they will get swept. They will not beat Denver without Luka and Austin Reeves. No shot. I think those are the only two teams. If I were the Lakers, I know Mac doesn't like this tanking conversation, I would probably drop to 4 to play Houston at 5. I don't want to play Denver. You don't want them. You avoid Denver as much as humanly possible. They're the only two teams that LeBron and these other nobodies can beat in a 7-game series. I'll also say to Jake LaRavia, I don't know how you got an NBA jersey. I think my daughter can run past you off the dribble. I've never seen such horrible defense in my life. I do not like you. I wish you would leave my team. You are terrible. And you are the worst off-ball defender I've ever seen in my life. Disgusting. I had to vomit 3 or 4 times last night watching that game, watching people just smoke right by you. So, Jake the Snake LaRavia, you need to get traded ASAP because you're hurting my team. Do you agree, Walt? Do you think the Lakers have a shot in the first round if Austin's not back against either one of those two teams?
I think they need Austin. I think they need all their guys in order to have a shot. Look, LeBron may dial it back, and we may get some vintage LeBron showing up. With Luka. And this is all hinging on the fact if Luka.
Yeah, let's go with the assumption it's Luka and LeBron, and it's against a hurt Milwaukee team, a hurt Minnesota team, or a wishy-washy Houston Rockets team.
Yes, then they have a shot, right? They have a little slim shot, right? I think. If I had to put a percentage on it, depending on the team, I would give them like maybe a 40% chance to beat either one of those teams.
Especially if Ant-Man's not playing. If Ant-Man's not there,
especially if Ant-Man's not playing, then yes. But it's just my fear because we've seen someone come back early from a grade 2 hamstring, and he was actually on the Denver Nuggets, Watson. He came back just 46 days after that injury, played 4 games, and re-aggravated it. I'm not wishing that on Luka. But I think if the Lakers can compete, right, and Luka's sits like the first couple of games of a series. Let's say he sits the first 3 games, and then he comes back and he hey, and the Lakers happen to just get lucky and steal a game somehow, some way, with just LeBron and the gangbusters. Then you bring Luka back then 1 or 2 or 3 games into the series, and then you let him have a go at it and see what you can do.
Okay, Mac, I'll let you end this.
All right, so he happened to mention Houston. We're gonna just glaze over that Kevin Durant is on their roster. You said Minnesota or Houston. We're just gonna glaze over to Kevin Durant is balling right now.
Who else does Kevin Durant have? I'm waiting.
Well, it's the same circumstance.
Sendon, Thompson.
Like I said, what else does Houston have? Houston barely beat Golden State, so stop. Houston's not a team that I think is going to do anything. I'm not saying they're going to sweep Houston. I just feel they have the best shot. They have 0 shot against Denver. 0.
Okay. All right. All right.
No Austin, no shot.
Yeah, and
I think if Minnesota had Ant-Man, they'd have 0 shot because Ant-Man is hurt.
Yeah.
I think that's your 2 best scenarios. So Lakers need to lose, drop to 4, play Houston at 5. That make my life easier. Or you can even drop to 6 and play Minnesota. I'm okay with that too. Any scenario avoiding Denver. We need to avoid Denver. Denver is spinach. You want to avoid that as much as possible right now when you don't want this. So it is what it is. All right. Okay. Final buzzer. This is where you can ask us anything about anything. Bring the comments. You can talk about pop culture, anything you want. Let's read some comments. Eric Close, ready to get drug tested now. No, it's not funny. Maurice says, unfortunately, Wemby will shut the NBA church doors to no-fly zone. Yeah. Yes, Wemby's could be MVP, but we'll talk about that in another time. And Maurice says, volleyball season ended up in Texas. He's riding the Wemby train, dude. He is riding the Wemby train. He is riding it. He is riding that Wemby train. I am really shocked. And we'll end it with Tom. I don't know if Kerr will be able to keep Curry off the court. I'm sure he's been itching to play. Tom, I think you're right. However, what are you going to gain by getting him hurt in a play-in tournament? If they were a 6 seed and this was a 7-game series that counted to like move forward in the playoffs, the real playoffs, like my man Walt said, then yes. This is a chance to get in the playoffs. So it's not even like you're in the playoffs. You're like, I have a chance to be in the playoffs if I win this game. So I don't know if it's worth risking that. You guys agree, or what are you saying?
Obviously, I agree.
Mac,
my answer. You know my answer.
All right. Well, anyways, let's end this. I want to thank everybody for showing up today. I want to thank all our guests. All our viewers. Please like, share, subscribe, boinkstudios.com. Mac, I'll let you say your parting words. Stay in the studio, but what you want to say before we call it a day?
All right. So America, my voice is not at 100% today, for some reason or another, but I knew I wanted to have this conversation with everyone today about how I feel about sports. And so I appreciate everyone chiming in. I want to give a special shout out to Garvin Getaways doing teletravel. My wife, Valerie Garvin, can help you with any of your travel needs. She's certified Disney's expert, Universal as well, Royal Caribbean. If you want to travel on the boats, NCL, please DM me and I will give you contact information for all your sports or needs as far as business travels.
All right. Stay in the studio. Walt, what you want to say?
Man, we did it again. Thank you for our listeners and supporters. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you want to find out about payroll or you have questions about your paycheck, go to it'saboutpayroll.io. And remember to share this episode when it drops.
Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, Walt. All right, guys. Another great episode, Race Sports and Slams. Mac will be in the supermarket getting some humble pie because he's going to be eating that on Monday. Me and Walt will be laughing and doing the cha-cha slide. Have a great night, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Please, boinkstudios.com is where you can find us. Please like, share, subscribe. I will see you next Monday.